Jacobs turns himself into police, arrested, 5 charges booked, and we're left wondering what is what. As, of course, with anything innocent till proven guilty, his attorneys are denying the charges. He's denying the charges, but there are 5 charges. This doesn't look good. Even Ian Rappaport was talking about how the exempt list is not ruled out and that it's too early, according to the league, to go down the road of the commissioner exempt list. But the league takes these things very seriously. And if there's any legs at all to this situation on any count or any situation, the league could very well step in, slap the exempt paid situation on Jacobs, which would essentially be innocent until proven guilty, and the league saying, you're paid, but you're gone until it's worked out. And that covers him in terms of the NFLPA and everything. So we'll break this down and more. What happens? Lloyd, Martinez, Najee Harris probably going to be getting the call. I envision Najee getting brought in here. I'm not saying I like that. I don't want anything to do with the Packers rushing attack, to be honest. I've said that from the jump. Unless they trade for somebody, Swift or, a running back. We'll find out. We'll talk that through. And Patty Mahomes, he's back. All of a sudden, you see Patty out there. Yeah, there's a brace there, but the man looks good. He's out there throwing. He's so going to play week 1. Anybody thinking he's not playing week 1? He's out there right now, slinging the pigskin around with a brace, but he's out there doing it. We're breaking it all down. The Fantasy Football Show Breaking News Edition, live Monday through Friday. Almost every single Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Edition begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
So, I this is not the time, but like business is business. This is not a backfield I wanted anyway. You heard me over and over say avoid Jacobs, avoid Jacobs, avoid Jacobs. Even if he gets out of this, even if he's innocent, or whatever the case may be, even if this all works out for him and he ends up starting week 1, it's all behind him and it's all made up. And I'm not saying it is or isn't because he's innocent until proven guilty, but we don't know. We have no clue. I wanted nothing to do with Jacobs this year. And I want nothing to do with the Green Bay backfield, period. Because this offense is being torn down to the studs and to really not even the foundation, down to the ground. They're going to lay new foundation, but they're laying simplistic foundation. Somebody's tearing down a 8-bedroom house with 4 bathrooms and a 3-car garage with a basketball court in the front and backyard with a pool. Tearing it all down, scraping the ground, and they're building a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, no pool, no swing set, no basketball court, maybe a tetherball pole or something. And that's what they want to build with this offense. They want to tear it. They tore it down. They're simplifying it. Why do you simplify things when people can't understand them? Is the receiving group Love? Though Jacobs definitely understands football. And so I'm not worried about him being a reason why they're tearing the offense down. He's definitely a veteran and versed running back. But he's getting older, and he's in a system that's breaking down. That's the point. The breaking down has nothing to do with him. He's probably the most wise person on the field. Now, obviously, not off the field might be the case, allegedly. But on the field, this guy knows, ball. But he's also been abused since the Oakland Raiders days. Yes, Oakland. He played for the Oakland Raiders. He was hitting 8-man fronts after 8-man fronts over and over and over again. Very similar story and tale of Joe Mixon, who got abused before he finally got an offense. And look what Joe did. Joe got abused. He was able to do well for a little while, and then he just fell straight off the face of the earth. Well, this man was replaced last year by a man we like in Emmanuel Wilson, who's over in Seattle, by the way. A little bit of a sleeper himself. And Wilson ended up being more of the damaging runner of the two, and they had no problems replacing Jacobs into a committee. Now, there's no one really in Green Bay. We've said this over and over. Green Bay is essentially a ghost town after Josh Jacobs. Yeah, Martinez is there, but I don't know that that's anything that I'm going to run to when I was already running away from Jacobs in this situation. And yeah, Lloyd, when's Lloyd ever stayed healthy? Does anybody even know if he's fully healthy right now? It's probably going to be some new blood coming in. It's probably going to be a veteran. It's probably going to be one of the very few running backs that are free agents right now in the National Football League. Let's go to Kruger for a little assistance on this one. Hey, Krugmeister. Josh Jacobs turned himself into police, was arrested, and he is now facing 5 charges. We don't know if he's innocent or guilty. What free agent running backs are out there in the NFL right now besides Najee Harris? I mean, they might want Najee.
Josh Jacobs turned himself in and is facing charges, but on the free agent running back market, aside from Najee Harris, there are a few notable names. Kenneth Walker III, Breece Hall.
Yeah, you're Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker. Let's go to Rex. Rex Kruger just said that Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall were free agents when I asked him this question. So if you answer this wrong, you're fired. Look, Jacobs is in trouble. 5 counts, been arrested, turned himself into police. Packers are looking for a running back. Tell me the top 5 free agent running backs that are out there on the free agent market. One of them is a Pirate.
Top 5 free agent running backs right now are Najee Harris, Antonio Gibson, Joe Mixon, Kareem Hunt, and Miles Sanders. Yeah, Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall are not free agents.
Yeah, okay. There's slim pickings out there, ladies and gentlemen. So my thinking here would be give me a coffee there, Kruger. My thinking would be that we're looking at maybe a trade. Chubb, yeah, Austin Eckler. If it's not Kareem Hunt or Najee, it's probably going to be maybe a little trade. What players are? Yeah, the charges are bad too. It's not like just domestic violence. It is using hands. Don't want to get too graphic here on the channel, but just saying that it's the charges are bad. Not to say that he's guilty of them, but the charges are not just all regular, very normal domestic charges. They're hands. It's pretty brutal if any of it's true, and that's what kind of concerns me. Is I don't have any information on whether it is true or not. No one would, right? This thing's gonna be looked at a much deeper level than that. We'll be here to report on it when we get the information, but what concerns me is that Rappaport, instead of tiptoeing around this, has already said that the league said it's too early for the commissioner exempt list. But the commissioner exempt list is potentially, in play later. We'll see. That concerns me. The NFL is like the Vatican. They have their own police. They have their own, not technically speaking, but they truly have their own investigation that goes deeper than the police sometimes do, and it finds out things right away. They go after whatever they can get. They find out everything they can get. Sometimes when they're talking to the players, they're like, "You're telling me everything now." You're telling me everything now. Or it comes out late. Like they get sometimes information that the players are, hush about. Like there's so many crazy things that happen with the NFL and how they get their information. But you can bet your bottom dollar that the NFL already has probably what they deem necessary to start leaning in a direction. That's how the NFL works. It's like the Vatican. But who knows when we get that information. But someone says, please, Algier. Look, Benson, Connor, that Cardinal backfield is extremely crowded. DeAndre Swift, the Bears have been intrigued about potentially moving on from him, leaning Kyle Monangai. And that report was so long ago, too, that they've settled on, whether they want to keep that running back stable the way it is. But there was a lot of talk about them releasing DeAndre Swift, but that we'll see what happens in terms of June 1 and what the money looks like on moving him pre-June 1 or post, and what kind of savings there are in regards to that. Let me see if I can get I wonder if Rex will know that. I don't think Kruger will know anything. Hey, Rex, if DeAndre Swift is traded or if he's cut, and I ask you cut because I just want to know if the numbers are different. The Bears were going to maybe look to cut him to save a bunch of money. But cut versus traded pre-June 1 and post-June 1, what do all four scenarios look like contract-wise for the Bears and DeAndre Swift?
Here's the breakdown on DeAndre Swift for the Bears in 2026. His cap hit is about $8.8 million. The key number is his dead money, only around $1.33 to $1.83 million, basically just the last chunk of his signing bonus proration. If they cut him pre-June 1, Bears save roughly $7.47 million against the cap this year and eat about $1.33 million in dead money. If they cut him post-June 1, they still save almost the same this year, but they can split that small dead cap charge across 2026 and 2027 if they want. The difference is tiny because the dead money is so low. For a trade, it's basically the same math as a cut for the Bears. They get the same cap savings and leave behind the same small dead money. The new team would just pick up his remaining 2026 salary and bonuses, which total around.
Okay, so there's that scenario. If the Bears decided to go in that direction again, not suggesting that the Bears haven't already made their decision. So we'll see. Would they trade with the Packers again? I don't. I mean, probably not. But we're just going through everything. Connor, Benson, not Algier. They just brought him in. What other running backs are potentially movable? And again, not all these. Stop getting your panties in a bunch about the Chicago Bears. Digging that we just did. Just stop. You're embarrassing yourself. Kamara. Alvin Kamara. Why didn't we think of this? Well, we did. We just thought of it right now. Alvin Kamara. It just popped into my head.
Let's go, mashed potatoes.
Yeah, buddy.
Not only does that really kind of alleviate any sort of potential ETN crowdage, but that is a good one. Look, Pollard or Spears, it's possible I see that comment, but I don't think that they're doing that now. Singleton's good, but he's very, very far away. Kareem Hunt could be a last resort. That is accurate. Let's go back to the board real quickly where just ideas come flowing like wine. Alvin Kamara was just sitting there. I don't know why we didn't even think it. Seattle, no. Detroit, no. Bucks, maybe they could. Could they trade Kenneth Gainwell? No, they're not. Giants, no. Cowboys, no. Jaden Blue, he's available. Rams, no. There's nothing else really that's sticking out like a sore thumb at all. The Commanders should be shopping one of their horrible, quads or trios of running backs that they brought in instead of just addressing it in the draft like they should have. Ridiculous. Stevenson, could we please send him? He's not going anywhere, but could we send him? Does anybody think that potentially a Bronco could get freed up? No, probably not. But yeah, I don't know. Vidal, I don't think so. Could Miami trade one of its two backup running backs? Maybe, maybe not. Braylon Allen, who knows? These things pop up out of nowhere sometimes where it's like, boom. Like, it's like Braylon Allen? Oh, my God, Braylon Allen's going to get a chance somewhere. Like, that kind of stuff can happen all the time. Woody Marks, they're moving on from him. It's certainly in the realm of possibility. Niners, I know a guy named Garendo that's added about 30, 35 LBs, but maybe he could get in shape real quickly. It's Kamara. It's Kareem Hunt. It's Benson or Connor, or it's probably going to be Najee Harris. If I had to just pinpoint down the most likely, in Swift would be just a total pipe dream scenario at this point because they didn't fill, any sort of vacancies through the draft, which would be what would have caused that Swift move. So for those of you, like I said, in your panties in a bunch about the Bears comment, they've been considering strongly all offseason getting rid of Swift for that $7 million savings. But it would have been to probably apply it into a rookie and have other pieces that are already off the table now and not attainable with the money. But certainly something that you could see potentially happening. Nick Chubb is another one, I guess. Hendy, man, I don't want Hendy in Green Bay, but would I want him to be solo? It's kind of a catch-22. Either way, 5 charges not looking good. Booked. 2 super chats await. This one's from Simi Valley. Simi, appreciate you. Simi dropped a super chat on Rumble that says, well, there goes 30% of my underdog best ball drafts. Simi, I told you not to draft Jacobs over and over and over. Connor could land there, in my opinion. That could be a move. Certainly possibility. Do I think Connor or Benson would get traded? I think Connor, for this situation, they don't want a project in Benson. They'd rather have Connor. I think that's the way NFL teams work when they're in this kind of turmoil. Like, bring the veteran in. He could fill in quickly, learn quickly. That's probably what would happen. Bro, I got one on the hook. Bucky, Fannin in a 27 late first for Bowers in a 10-team Superflex tight end premium. Yeah, you smashed that probably, bro. I love Fannin. First rounder is going to be late, I assume, right? So it's a late first rounder, Bucky and Fannin for Bowers. Probably the right. I'd try and get a little bit more if you can, but I understand this trade. In tight end premium, Bowers becomes special. If it is a 1 QB, you could argue, if it was non-tight end premium, you could argue Fannin's closer to Bowers than that. Trade's making it appear you should be thinking that way, at least, but tight end premium and Superflex make those top guys more important. Like Josh Allen goes in the 3rd round in 1 QB, he goes number 1 overall in a Superflex, and he becomes more valuable as the 1 overall versus if he was to potentially, even if you're pitting him against a guy going 4 overall, it's a big separation gap that starts to emerge when you coin it tight end premium or Superflex for the quarterbacks. So I would say, yeah, you did pretty good there. I still like Bucky. We're not jumping ship on Bucky. For those that missed the earlier live stream, just to make sure everybody's caught up on everything that we got going on today. Bucky Irving, the news broke today, and we'll cover the Mahomes stuff in just 1 second, but the news broke today that Bucky Irving, according to his head coach Todd Bowles, will be ready at some point in the summer or the fall. And the fall means September 22nd. That's when fall begins. Now, Bowles might not have been trying to be exact. He might have been like, I didn't mean like fall. I just mean the beginning before fall. He's not defining what fall is. I had to look up when fall starts. I'm like, is that like September 1 or is that like September 30th? Is that, what does that look like? I had to look it up. So do you think Bowles know exactly when fall starts? So take it a little cautiously in terms of the overreaction, but you should have already cuffed Kenny Gainwell to Bucky like we've said all offseason long, and that if you didn't cuff it, that your mom's ashamed of you, I'm ashamed of you, and you're taking a lap anyway, and so you should have no problems here. And if for any reason you didn't cuff it, I will try my best to help you get that done. But Bucky is not out for week 1 yet, but there's a chance. Who knows how this goes? It's been very vague. And the other thing that we got to think about too, and I'm not saying we don't panic. Look, we talked about where he falls, and we cooked up this amazing team. If Bucky Irving falls to the round late, let's say top of 6, late 5, you're looking at this kind of team that you can build. Thanks again, Mike, for that earlier super chat. You're looking at Njigba, Love, Neighbors, or if it's not Neighbors, Josh Allen here. Evans, then if it's not Burrow here, you took Josh Allen here. Talk about BTJ, you're talking about players like that. Bucky here, Gainwell here. Gainwell's going to climb. You're going to have to meet right in the middle to draft them both. And then you get Fannin. Hero RB using Bucky as your second running back. You got to look at the glass half empty, not half full. The glass half full, not half empty. And look at the glass half empty, people, and take advantage of the situation. Because, you can cry and moan and piss and moan about what you did in best ball prior to this point. You haven't drafted any redraft leagues yet. Yeah, in Dynasty you might own Bucky, but I've been telling you to get Gainwell, so you should be sleeping like a baby. And if not, as Hammer said earlier, it's your own fault at that point. I will help you the best that I can. But this man, Bucky, becomes such a different value at cost of entry than fourth round Bucky. They're entirely two different players, and you have to be able to separate that. Walk in and say, look at this damn team. Look at how safe Bucky and Gainwell. And you grab Sean Tucker later. You have to. If you don't, that's your own fault too. So Bucky news out of the way. We just did that. We did a whole show on it too. Patrick Mahomes is out there just throwing missiles. Yeah, he's in a brace, but bro, he's out there. He's doing it. Everyone's wondering in 3.5 months, will Patty Mahomes, the hardest working and most probably best teammate in the league. This is probably the best teammate in the league. All the you people that like to rip on Patrick Mahomes and act like he's trash or you hate him, this and that. Your fandom is shining through. To hate this guy is so wild. He give you the shirt off his back as you're making fun of him. I mean, this is one of the hardest workers and probably one of the best teammates in the National Football League. And the hate for him is just out of control. And look at him out there just throwing. He's probably the hardest working quarterback in the National Football League in the offseason. Look at what he's doing. Look what he's doing. Look how much progress this man has had. He's going to be out there in week 1. And if you think he's going to be all limited and all that, you got another thing coming. Have you ever met Patrick Mahomes? This guy's going to scramble for 15 yards untouched. Yeah, they're going to try to game script him not to run. That's the plan. But he's going to see a wide open lane to the right side of the field. He's going to go, I can get out of bounds if I just keep running. I'll get there. And he's going to run out of bounds, untouched. Collinsworth's going to pass out on the set and drool all over. And we're going to be going, I can't believe Mahomes looks like he never even tore his ACL. It's so wild. You know what else is wild? Gio dropping 10 gifted memberships. Gio, thank you.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Gio to the moon. And then Simi Valley, thank you for that Rumble chat. 30% of your underdog best balls. I'm sorry, my boy. I tried to warn you. I tried to warn you about this, tried to warn you about that. Now, in the case of this, you could say, Smitty, Bucky's your boy. We tried to warn you. This has been hit. This board's been pushed. I pressed the button and put this board on screen maybe 2-3 times a show for weeks, for over, 2 months. So everything's been laid out like a blueprint. Now we have to worry about this. Let's talk about it. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
I had one guy email me or DM me on Instagram. I check my Instagram DMs sometimes, but I just read them for laughs. But I can't respond to everybody. I have people that actually call my Instagram. I turn off alerts for that, so I have no idea. But they'll call my Instagram, and they'll think I'm just gonna randomly dial this guy. I don't know what he's doing. Let's call. But I get 500. I'd say I get 50 to 100 DMs a day. So we're getting 700 to 1,000 DMs on Instagram. And I'm not just talking about the spam folder a week. And so I can't answer. I'm so sorry. I know a lot of you have tried. Hey, Smitty, what do you do in this situation? I get it. That's why I have the Patreon. $10 a month, cancel anytime. The link is in the description of any video, including this one. The link is right here. It's like having your own group chat. When people say, hey, me and the boys have a group chat. And you're like, damn, I wish I had a group chat. Now you do. $10 a month, cancel anytime. Try it for a cup of coffee. $10, then cancel if you don't like it. Anytime you want, that link just got dropped in the live chat. But we're live 24/7, 365 on there. Travis is in there. I'm in there. It's not a place to just come and say, hey, Smitty, what do you think of his team? Because it's a group chat. But I'm in there chiming. I try and go around a lot. and answer questions. It gets really busy during the season. Right now is a great time to get in there and ask a dynasty question, ask a trade question, and there's not like message after message getting piled over your message. It's a great time to get in there. I had the guy DM me and say, Smitty, I got sidetracked. Sorry, Smitty, you're so wrong about Bucky. I told you about, but you didn't tell me about nothing. And not to mention, Bucky's not even out week 1 or anything yet. This is just what we described as the best cuffing situation in a Zach Robinson offense. Zach Robinson just handed Bijan Robinson double-digit touchdowns, 80 receptions, 800 receiving yards, 1,400 rushing yards. Walks over, calls Bucky the same light as Bijan. He sees Bijan and Bucky in the same light. And then the next couple weeks later, he says that Kenny Gainwell and Bucky are like identical skill sets. You can just plug and play them. And so you've had all the answers. Travis, you're live.
Hey, what's up?
Hello? What's up?
Yeah, I don't get why the Packers didn't take a running back, because it's pretty clear the workload Jacobs has had, and wear and tear, and he's getting up there in age, and I kept saying before the draft, I thought they didn't have a first round pick, but third round pick 87 or their fourth pick, I kept saying Jonah Coleman, and now think back if Coleman was on the Packers, how good that would look. But I don't get what they were doing. I guess maybe if they just know they're taking a step back this year, and they'll address running back of the future next year, maybe.
Yeah. I think that, it's disappointing. Well, it's not disappointing because I don't want them to have ruined a running back, right? But we got this. Hold on one second. Let me answer this super chat real quickly. Do I trade Jacobs, Evans for Bowers and Rome? Jacobs and Evans, of course you do. Yes. The answer is yes. Bowers goes ahead of all of them, and Rome is an arguable piece in this is dynasty, I assume. I mean, yeah. You could draft Rome ahead of Mike Evans in the dynasty, so like you'd be winning all sides. That's an absolute smash. This is an absolute smash. Yeah, Travis, I was very, very shocked. Again, not disappointed because I didn't want them to ruin a running back, but why would you not attack? Like, they have no running back. This is the point I want to make. They pretty much benched Jacobs last year. Yeah, he was in a running back by committee. That's his punishment. It wasn't like completely benched, but he was taken out of his starting role. And Wilson was, in some cases, the better running back, the de facto. And then Jacobs would come in. But it seemed like Jacobs was getting phased out. Like, oh my God, in the offseason, these guys are going to go get a different running back. It seemed that way. And then when we watched Wilson leave, which was shocking, because I believe he was a restricted tender. I forget what the contract was.
Yeah.
They let Wilson go. And then you're like, okay, then I guess they're going after a rookie. They're trying to trade for somebody because they don't believe in Jacobs. They just proved it. And then they go in with nobody. And I know Martinez and Lloyd are there. Lloyd can't stay healthy. Martinez has proven nothing. Not that he's not a sleeper right now today. As the 5 or 6 Martinez dynasty leaguers in our live chat are like, Martinez! Oh my God, you guys are sleeping on Martinez. Maybe not.
Lloyd,
probably
people
not.
are going nuts too.
Yeah, maybe.
They
Lloyd Christmas. No. Lloyd Christmas has a better chance of becoming an elite running back in Green Bay this year than what's his name? I even forget his first name. Brandon Lloyd? Marshawn Lloyd. Brandon Lloyd. Remember Brandon Lloyd? Marshawn Lloyd. Marshawn Lloyd. Yeah, I'm so forgetful. I don't even remember his first name. Marshawn Lloyd. I do this for a living. I don't even remember his first name. Marshawn Lloyd. Lloyd Christmas.
You can't make it through training camp.
Yeah.
How's he going to make it through a season?
Yeah. So I do think that we're probably looking at them bringing in Najee, bringing in Eckler, bringing in Hunt, trading for Connor, trading for probably not Benson, but maybe. Kamara either getting cut and signing there or Kamara getting traded. I don't know what that looks like, why they would do that, or if they're just doing that for him. That's really...
Just stay away from the backfield there.
Wilson's on Seattle now. Thanks, John. I appreciate you telling us that Wilson's now with the Seattle Seahawks. Brandon Super Chat needs attention. I just did that. I don't know if that's late or what you're talking about. What else was I saying before John? Yeah, Brandon Lloyd was good. He was a dangerous receiver. He was so fun to watch. Martinez. Yeah, I know you got Martinez. It's cool. I know you got him in 7 leagues. Congratulations, bro. But yeah, John, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Emmanuel Wilson's with the Seattle Seahawks. We know, John. We just talked about it for 5 minutes. Travis, what do you think happens? You think it's Kareem Hunt or Najee? I think it's Najee. That's my
opinion. Kind of feels
there.
Like Najee.
He's there. Why give up draft capital? Like if you're the Packers and you're already re-stamping this thing, you're trying to do a double stamp on a single stamp. Like you're not looking to like give up capital to go get I mean, it probably is pretty cheap. And the Cardinals are like begging someone. They'll probably even like be like, "Hey, we'll pay for everything. His plane ticket, his food for the year, whatever. Just take him." And who knows how that looks in terms of that. But I think you look at Najee being free. I mean, you only have to
free and not that he's good anymore, but he thinks he's got something to prove. He's been training. He's probably in good shape. Like, it makes sense. And
4th of July will be interesting if you bring him over.
Yeah, I don't think Mixon's an option just because while Mixon hasn't necessarily gotten in trouble a ton in the NFL, there's always sketchy stuff going on around him with violence and gun issues, and this happened around him and that happened around him. So I don't know if that's a direction Green Bay would go with Jacobs catching a bunch of charges.
Yeah, I wonder, again, innocent till proven guilty. These are all,
Yeah, you have to nowadays.
Yeah, for sure. But you do think about, like, the fact that, Mixon's cooked, guys. I don't know if you heard the story that I told last year, or right at the end of the season or whatever, that there was a lot of mischievous stuff going on, like rumors at least. Alleged rumors that Mixon... they were hiding Mixon for, to keep him out of trouble for things he was doing. And, there's all kinds of things going on in his house, like Travis said, but like maybe related to that the Texans are like, just stay away, stay out of trouble, stay away. And then there was like one rumor. Then the other rumors have been like, he's cooked, like he's absolutely physically cooked. But yeah, Mixon also dropped off the face of the earth and then couldn't get back on the field. Clearly, there's no Joe Mixon has a big future or anything like that. Eckler's coming off just a devastating injury that running backs don't come back from. And how do you expect him to come in and shoulder the workload? He would be a spot duty player at best. So he's not the answer. They may look to add that, in addition to something, but they certainly need to look into this. Now, do they act right away? I don't know, because, I think if they do, that's really bad. That says really bad things about where this is probably going. But I think that these 5 charges are kind of different than, I think they feel different than the other situations that kind of fall apart. This one feels like there's some legs to it, but that's just my assessment based on, things that I'm hearing, reading, and initially taking in and just some educated guessing. But I'm not necessarily saying it's going to end up holding. I might hear new information and go, never mind, that doesn't jive, and this is just kind of confusing. I'm going to back off. I'm not trying to say he's innocent or guilty. I'm not saying he's innocent either. I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm not saying he's innocent. It's innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. But, this is also a game of where these guys are trained to be, aggressive, overly aggressive, and they go home. It's so hard to turn it off. Sometimes you wonder if the league is doing enough to make these players understand that and have outlets so that they don't go home and carry this, craziness with them. I mean, you got to think about that at times. But regardless,
some guys just aren't good guys. Some guys just aren't good people either.
Yeah, and you wonder.
We forget that sometimes. Like just because you're an elite athlete doesn't mean you're a model citizen all the time.
Yeah, and you know, let's be honest. Who here has forgiven Jacobs for the time that he told us to start him, to not start him in fantasy, and he ended up playing? Like, to me, that's where I drew the line. Jacobs, and then he blocked me on Instagram, but it's because I went after him a little bit on that, because I don't know if anybody remembers the story, but he hates fantasy football. He hates people. He hates his fans. He since, I think, changed a little bit. But he one time was so tired of people saying, "Are you starting? You lost me my week last week. You didn't even get a carry or whatever. You were coming back from injury." And he said, "I'm not playing this week. Sorry, guys." And everybody scrambled to bench him. Yeah, it was that way, right? It wasn't that he was playing.
Yeah.
That I think he said he was sitting and he played.
I think so.
Yeah.
Sure.
He said, "I'm sitting this week," and everybody scrambled. He put it on his Instagram on story post, and everybody scrambled to bench him. Then they benched him, and then when he ended up playing, everyone's like, "What are you doing, bro? Like, it's such a messed up move." And then he scored like 2 points, and so the joke was on him, because those that scrambled and put someone else in ended up playing better, and it was just crazy, But yeah, I don't know what. So hold on, let me merge Purple John in here. Hold on, Purple John. I'll be right with you. Just mute yourself, please, real quick. What do you think ultimately happens here? And then I got a $20 super chat.
I think Najee makes sense, and I mean, like you said, that the Chargers feel like something is going to stick there. And Najee makes sense because just same as Martinez and Lloyd. Najee has that bigger build that if you look at the Packers, they like that 220, 230-pound type back, and guys that can, really kind of be that workworse. So,
yeah.
And I mean, even if Jacobs was playing, I don't think Najee is a bad move for them, because they need depth there. So
yeah,
he fits the profile.
Mel Bailey says, "Bro, Smitty, off topic, just wanted to say that you did a great job this morning when you went live with Heath." He's talking about the CBS Sports. I went on CBS Sports YouTube today, and you carried the show. A commenter said he got booted from here, but I told him that you don't hold grudges. LOL. Look, Mel, I'm going to say this once. I'm going to say it very, 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 very with conviction. I don't boot people the way that, and I saw some of the comments going on. The way people describe me when they've been banned from the show is because they acted out. They said things in a way that got them either booted by the moderators or myself. I don't control everything, and sometimes I do the removing when somebody comes in, attacks the show, attacks me, says, "Don't listen to this guy." Half the time when someone gets booted and they say they got booted because of a difference of opinion, half the time, Mel, they're saying something different, and their story is, "I disagree with them and I kicked them out." Bro, I've got an open phone line, Mel. I've got an open phone line where I argue with people 24/7. I'm consistently arguing with people on here that John's on the phone line right now. I yell at John every single day. And I disagree with John every single day. Am I blocking John? No. Has John been blocked before? Yes. John has said some things that have gotten him blocked. But do I go out of my way? I don't hold grudges. Then why is John still on the phone line when John's been blocked before? He comes back on his burner. I leave him be. I let him try again. And John's sitting here on the phone line right now. Evidence that I don't hold. I could care less about whoever's saying this. To be honest, I don't remember any of it. I don't know if Ahmad did it. I don't know if I did it. I don't really even care. Because the people that say that I banned them for just disagreeing with them, I read it. Some about Tom Brady. Like, he said Tom Brady was the GOAT and something else, or I wasn't the GOAT or something. I don't remember what it was. I think it wasn't the GOAT. I'm not even a Tom Brady fan. Like, I like Tom Brady. Tom Brady probably is the GOAT, but Travis and I have been on here saying that if Mahomes were to do that, remember when Mahomes was about to win a three-peat, I said, then we're going to start having a conversation where this is getting closer. And we've gone back and forth, Travis and I, on that conversation. So it has nothing to do with Tom Brady with me. I wouldn't block someone because of what they said about Tom Brady, nor would anybody ever get blocked for having a disagreeable take. It's when they come in with disrespect, They say, don't listen to this guy. This channel's trash. I lost all my leagues because of this guy. And then you get blocked, not because we're scared of that BS information, but because the person's disruptive. You come in and start getting disruptive, you get removed for being disruptive. That's why people get removed. And they tell a different story. And people are like, oh my God. Like, Mel, no offense, but I was reading your comments and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened to you. Like, you were buying it, whatever that was being sold. It is what it is. Come in and be respectful. John's on the phone line about to disagree with me about something, but he's respectful when he's on the phone line. If he wasn't, he'd be gone. So that's my take there. I'll go to Travis in 1 second. Let me just go over to Purple John real quickly. Purple John, go ahead. You're live, young man.
Hey, thanks for the phone call. I wanted to ask you about your thoughts on like these dynasty values of these guys, Josh Jacobs, Lloyd, Martinez possibly, and if you could have like a depth chart or do the whiteboard, that'd be great. If not, I'll just do it verbally. What are they worth now, particularly the backups and Jacobs and dynasty, knowing that we don't really know anything yet? What would you say they're worth?
And Mel, again, thank you for the super chat, Mel.
You've just been
And Bill, and by the way, Bill's or Crazy Bill or Crazy Bruce, whatever he said, like, I want to see my children yesterday in regards to BTJ. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
None of those guys were worth more than nobody on that was worth less than BTJ. They were all worth like a country mile more. And I don't know why. I think it was Mike or something like that. I thought that guy was crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe he had BTJ on his team.
What, Travis?
Yeah, I think he yeah.
No, I was saying Mike was very, very high on BTJ. He said that you liked him as a top 5 receiver, so he was obviously going to have.
Which was crazy.
I just don't understand it because when you look at him in college, he had 200-300 seasons, and then the guy who has the dual threat comes along, and all of a sudden he has like 17 touchdowns and 1,100 yards. But he didn't really do much.
I personally like BTJ, but I don't like him as much as. Which was crazy is Mike was so high on Henry. I've never heard of a person higher on Henry in my life. He says Henry's going to be good for 2, elite for maybe 2, maybe 3 seasons, but definitely 2. And it's like, wow. And then I'm like, what about BTJ versus Henry then? He's like, BTJ. Like, I'm confused. All right. Let's see. You wanted to know about Lloyd. So Lloyd, Christmas, what is Martinez?
Lloyd, Chris Brooks, and Damian Martinez, the kid out of, I think it was Miami, something like that. He was good. He averaged over 6 yards per carry.
No.
We liked him last year. I don't know what happened.
We've talked about him.
Make the team, or
we've talked about
what
him.
happened with Martinez was like off the field stuff. Like one scout, obviously he's not this bad, but to put it the way people are looking at things, one scout said he's Aaron Hernandez without the crimes, meaning he's probably hanging out with bad people and hadn't quite let go of his past yet. But maybe he's moved on from that.
Yeah, maybe he has. But regardless, he hasn't put himself in a position, I think, to become the starter. Yeah, I mean, could any one of these guys climb up and produce? I mean, Emmanuel Wilson did it, and that wasn't really easy to see coming. So to pretend like one of these guys can't do it, of course they can. But I don't know. The odds are very stacked against him. If you wanted me to say a dynasty value, I mean, throw out a name and I'll tell you that person or one of these 3 guys. And I think you're going to find it really hard to grab a name. Like, don't dig into like the, what about Eckler, who's not on a team? Like, give me a strong name just strong enough. And I'll tell you whether a dynasty, this is the way I'm going to value it for you, because I have no other way to do this. Give me a name and I'll say that name or one of these 3 guys. Go.
Keaton Mitchell or Lloyd or Brooks.
Mitchell by a mile.
Sean Tucker.
Sean Tucker. No hesitation. This guy's going to score 5-6 touchdowns.
Hey, what about picks wise? Would you trade away a third or a fourth, like a random 28, 29 for one of these guys just in case?
Fourth? I get.
Or a third or a fourth for any of them.
If I have Jacobs, maybe I take Martinez or Lloyd for a fourth. A third, maybe, if I own Jacobs. But why would I own Jacobs? What do I look like, an a-hole?
I know you're not high on them, but I just want to know where they're at picks wise.
Yeah. I'd probably say if you own Jacobs, a third's understandable for sure, but second rounder, no. And honestly, it's probably better for everybody watching to get in a couple of other names. I know you always push back on this like way, but that I do things, but in terms of like when I'm trying to value somebody against a player or value somebody against a pick, but give me a couple more names. Like those are great names that you threw out. That's more helpful than the picks probably because everyone's like a third, fourth rounder. I don't know, whatever. Give me a couple other names.
Okay, what about Adam Randall, the kid that was at the Washington?
Yeah, backup
Washington, Arkansas, RB.
I think you're probably looking at Randall being a better player because the odds are he's in a like there's still a chance that Jacobs comes back and plays and this gets pushed into 2027 like so many other, off the field situations. So who knows? Probably not, but there's that chance. And like, what are you going to get here? At least Randall's the backup for sure. And Henry's got
what about Dylan Sampson?
Dylan Sampson. I'm telling you, you're gonna find it. You're gonna find it really hard for me to say. Look, first of all, you don't know if it's Lloyd. You don't know if it's Martinez, and you don't even know if it's either one of them because they could bring in Najee.
Oh, for clarification, you said that Jacobs was worth a third, and the other two you'd be willing to pay like a third and a fourth.
Jacobs the third. I never said being worth a third. No,
I thought you said he was worth like a third.
No, I'm saying that. Did I say that, Travis? Maybe I misspoke, or did I not? I don't think I said anything about Jacobs.
I'm not sure. I was looking at.
Kat, did I? I'll give him an apology, or I'll take a lap on that one if I accidentally misspoke when I was trying to read off these guys. But I don't think I said Jacobs at all. If I did, I didn't. I meant Lloyd and Martinez. But no, like a third rounder. I think what you heard was if I had Jacobs, I would give up a third rounder for Lloyd or Martinez. Is what I said. I'm almost positive that's what I said.
I mean,
okay, so what is Josh Jacobs worth then?
I mean, I at this point, how are you going to get rid of him? But would I try and get like a Jonah Coleman in Dynasty? 100%. Would I try and trade into a Scat or a Jadarian Price or a Hendy? Yeah, but you're going to have to give up other pieces, and that's kind of the way you're going to have to do it. I don't think anybody's just taking standalone Jacobs right now. Hi, excuse me. I'm at your door knocking through the peephole. I've got this Josh Jacobs that I'd love to sell you right now in exchange for one. Like, you're going to have to make him an accessory and accoutrement to a trade, icing on the cake, and you're just like throwing him in. You're doing a second rounder or a first rounder for a player with Jacobs being thrown in. You're not getting rid of Jacobs right now after he just got booked and arrested, bro. His value, I mean, certainly not a first rounder. I don't think that you can sit here and say you give him up though for a third round. Like, what if he comes back and plays? So you can't do a rookie third round pick, but you can certainly try.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, there's nowhere to get rid of him. That's kind of my point. Manungai, trade him straight up for Manungai. I'd do that in a heartbeat.
And then last question, out of the rookies, Damian Martinez, Marshawn Lloyd out of USC, and Chris Brooks, who I don't even know, he's like a journey dude. Which of those three do you think is most likely to take the role?
Of these three right here?
Yeah.
Hammer says he doesn't appreciate this guy speaking without Angry Bruce present. I think, look, let's go to the depth chart and just see what they list. Packers official depth chart.
I like Martinez.
I'm not saying that's what you should be necessarily going off, but Chris Brooks looks second. Marshawn Lloyd's third, although third could be, and then Pierre Strong.
Yeah, him too.
We're forgetting about Pierre Strong, people. Like,
yeah,
maybe,
and they have an undrafted free agent. I forget his name.
The Green Bay Packers.com website has Emmanuel Wilson still as the backup running back, and Malik Willis is the backup quarterback. So that's outdated.
Well, regardless, based on your expertise, which one would you say, yeah, I'm putting my money on this one?
I'm not putting my money. That's the whole point. I'm not putting my money on any of them. I'm trying to tell you there's no way to know what the hell this looks like. There's no way. You're going to have, you're just basically putting.
Which one do you like the most?
I don't, but John, I know you want me to give you an answer, but I want nothing to do with any of this. And for me to lean one way, to lean. to lean one way is making me feel like I'm taking a side, and I'm not. I just want nothing to do with this. I think you're probably looking at Najee Harris or someone like that coming in. So these don't matter to me. I don't want them if Jacobs is in the game and on the field, and I don't want them because I don't think they'll be any sort of starter material. I guess the one that has the most upside would probably be like why is Chris Brooks listed number 2 is what I would be asking.
I think probably because they signed him from Miami. They actually spent money.
Last year
much,
last year he played on January 4th at the Vikings, played in the playoff game, had 1 carry for 16 yards, had 1 reception and 1 target for 11 yards. In the final game of the season, he had 13 carries for 61 yards, 4.7 a pop. I mean, 8 carries for 21 yards in week, like, I don't know what that was, 12, 13, something like that. So there's been some usage. It's not like he's completely like, nowhere.
Yeah, he's got the most experience.
Sure. I get, look, I guess Chris Brooks, if I had to give you a name.
Appreciate it a lot, Smitty. Shout out Travis. Have a great night, guys.
Thank you.
Later, John.
That's a tough one. Thanks, John. See, I see.
Yeah.
Bailey, what was his name? Bailey. I got John calls in all the time, and I don't know. I like John. He's like that kid at school that, everyone's like, well, he's here again today. And then when he's absent, you're like, I kind of miss John. Where? And then he comes back, you're like, oh, okay. But like when he's gone, you miss him. When he's there, he's John, and that's it. But like, people that act like I don't, allow disagreeing on this channel, it's a ridiculous statement. It's probably as ridiculous as saying that Smitty doesn't breathe air. It's so weird. He doesn't even breathe air. He doesn't. I don't understand how somebody could think that this show boots somebody for disagreeing. It's about being respectful to the chat more than me. Like, I've had people disrespect me like mad. I still keep them. But when you disrespect the chat, or are rude to people in the community, and I know that they can trigger some rudeness back, but you got to ask yourself why that is. Why is the chat being rude back to you? I can't control what other people are going to say. We try and police it. That's why Travis is constantly putting, and Travis gets a bad rap, and you guys should all drop a fire emoji for Travis because he gets put in the worst positions, and people don't even know what he has to deal with. It's constant, and Travis doesn't ever ask for any sort of like pat on the back from the chat, but the chat should once in a while appreciate what this man does. Let's see here. Glad my QB stayed away from. Yeah, he's dating that mom. I don't know if what is the accuser of this situation. I don't want to get into speculation about that. There's some people speculating about it. I don't know how this is going to go. And
so it's funny too because you go on to Sleeper and you go to trending pickups and number 1, 2, and 3 is Lloyd, Brooks, Martinez. And then if you click on their names and go to like the little comment section, every comment section is like, oh, here we go, boys. It's time, boys. We held on for the right reasons. So it's just whoever likes which player is going to say the same thing about each one.
There's the
can't
mug
read
shot.
anything into it.
Got the mug shot right there. The mug shot. Yeah, I agree with you, Travis. So just to be very, very clear, let me write it on the board here. Jacobs allegedly denies, because there's, everything's allegedly. The alleged charges. Jacobs allegedly denies, and I can't confirm that he denies all charges. Maybe he denies 4. I don't know. But according to all the reports, Jacobs denies all charges. So I'll put that because I want this to be as accurate as possible. Jacobs denies all charges. This coming from his team, and he's gonna obviously fight this, and we'll see where it goes. But right now, I think it's better to safe to assume he's missing a chunk of the season, a chunk of it. I think that's safer than expecting him, to play. Wouldn't you agree, Travis, that it's better to expect him not to play than to play at this point?
Yeah, and I mean, if I had him, like I don't because I didn't want any part of him anyways. But if I had him, like, I don't know, like you said, if you can get him a young guy, if you can move it into something like that, I would even treat him like you were talking about with Kittle when you're on the CBS show today. Use him as an extra piece to get something done. I would do that with Jacobs in the right deal. Like, but besides that, you just got to kind of hold it, right? I mean,
yeah, like I was
wait
telling
and see.
John, like you can't get rid of him for a 3rd-round rookie pick. You probably can't even get rid of him for a 2nd-round rookie pick. You just got to be like, if it's a 1st-rounder, which isn't going to happen, then you take it. But other than that, you're kind of just saying, like, look, if I jump off this train and it all falls apart the case and he's completely ready for week 1. Keep in mind, Judkins' situation was after the draft, right? And the draft had occurred. Judkins' allegations came out. That dipped all the way into like the week 1 territory, like right up to it. And so Jacobs' situation could very well get ironed out quickly as well. So you just don't know. If he tries to drag it out, then that could be a bad sign in a way, or it could mean that his team's like, look, this is the best chance to give you you've got very short time left, maybe 1 or 2 years left with your body being abused for years and years. Like, let's drag this out and give you the 1 more year. Like, there's that possibility, because if Jacobs misses 1 calendar year, he's done. He's already done. In my mind, he's already done. But he gets they're going to start him. Like, he's going to get a chance to be this team starting back. And could he fall in the end zone 10 times and get like 900 yards? Sure. I mean, it's possible. But if he sits out a whole year with this stuff, gets suspended for the entire season, or he gets put on the commissioner exempt paid, and then he ends up, getting whatever, for whatever reason, even if he's innocent, but he's on the exempt list paid the entire year, he's done. You take a player that's got his mileage off the field to put cobwebs on him at his age, he's done. You can't take a year off, like, especially a healthy year off.
Le'Veon Bell,
Yep.
What was it? He was only 25, I think. When he did that.
Was he really? Look that up. That's
after his 25-year season. So 25 going into his 20. It would have been his 26-year season.
God, Lev Bell's so was the smoothest running back outside of Barry Sanders to ever play the game.
So patient.
Yeah, he says he never ran more than 80% speed ever. I'm sure there's a time where he did, but he says never. That's his way of like saying he just literally like kind of just shuffle his way through. I'm surprised no one else tries to run like him. He was just so patient, such a patient runner. It was different than Barry, but it was smooth. Like Barry was the smoothest runner to ever play. And then Lev Bell was, in a different way, the second smoothest operator carrying the football in the NFL. Like, just unbelievable. Like, if you haven't watched Lev Bell footage, if you started playing fantasy football late or you're young, go YouTube Lev Bell footage in real time. Try not to do the slow motion like video foot cuts. Watch him and put Lev Bell in regular speed. And just watch him like stop. He literally stopped. He just kind of put his hand on his lineman's back and just kind of stop and kind of shuffle his feet and then go and then stop and shuffle. It was so crazy.
You'd see him stop and just be like, oh, someone's gonna get to him, and all of a sudden he just hit that hole and take off.
So I don't know what else to say here other than to say that we need to make sure. We don't overreact to getting rid of Jacobs for free. We try and sell him immediately if you didn't listen to me all off season, but you don't get rid of him for nothing. The best move, as I said earlier, and as Travis just piled on, is to add him into a deal as an additive, like an accessory and accoutrement. You throw him into a deal. BBQ dropping 50, not 10. Not 5, not 20, not 30, not 40, 50 gifted memberships. Ladies and gentlemen, the meatloaf is on BBQ tonight. I smell meatloaf. So while the chat is littered with you've just been given a membership. You've just been given a membership. You've just been given a membership for like the next 3 minutes. You can thank BBQ for that, number one. If you don't get a membership, turn on your memberships, accepting gifts, or it's in your YouTube account. I always forget how to get there, but you could Google it in 5 seconds. Just Google, how do I turn on accepting gifted memberships on YouTube? It'll walk you straight through it. That's why you're probably not getting one, especially when BBQ and New Age have been in here before where they've dropped like 50, like, and there's more gifted memberships than there are viewers, and there's like 5 people that still have no green name. They're like, why am I not getting one? You got to turn it on, because you never know when BBQ's peeping around the corner. You know, BBQ just might peep around the corner and just drop 50 and leave. They call that a gifted membership drop. He just comes in and says, boom. Thank you, BBQ. Appreciate you. What was I saying? Oh, so don't overreact to get rid of them for cheap or for free, but try and get rid of them. So a good like 2-for-1 for me would be something along the lines of, like, let's say you want a Bashal Tootin instead of Jacobs. You knock on the Bashal Tootin's door and you say, Toot Toot, I'd love to swap running backs here. That person is going to be like, oh, where's yours currently right now? Well, he's booked in police custody. Okay, where's mine right now? Well, he's out there looking like a monster, right? Getting ready, getting prepped. So why would I do that? You can't just do that. You got to, in some cases, the best way to get rid of a player like this is to upgrade them. It sounds unorthodox. It sounds counterintuitive, but the best way is to give. And how do you upgrade? Draft picks are usually the best way. A first rounder and Jacobs for what running back? Go that route. Give someone a free Jacobs in their mind to take the gamble on the draft pick. And if you were to say, I'll give you a first rounder for, let's call it Jadarian Price right now, just as an example. I want your Jadarian Price for a first rounder. No, he was a first rounder. Okay, I'll give you Jacobs and Jadarian Price for, Jacobs and a first rounder for Jadarian Price. Not saying that trade's going to go through necessarily, but that's what you could do. Go after an older Breece Hall. Well, I'm not going to give you Breece Hall for Jacobs. I'll give you this pick. You know, I'm not saying the first rounder, but maybe you got to do that to get out of this. Hendy, first rounder, and Jacobs for Hendy. You give the whole suite. First, second, third, fourth round picks in any 1 year. For some reason, that's like giving someone a box set. You know, you just give them the whole box set. Here you go. First, second, third, fourth, and Jacobs for your Hendy. I can't tell you how many times adding the second, the third, and the fourth in just makes the person do it. They're like, oh my God, I'm getting the whole package. You know, this is 4 picks in a row. This looks fantastic.
True. I'm
going to take this in a heart. So that helps. So Hendy, first, second, third, fourth, Jacobs for Hendy. First, second, third, fourth, and Jacobs for Price. First and Jacobs for Scat. Jacobs for Coleman straight up. Try that. Manungai straight up. Try that. Second rounder and Jacobs for Manungai. Second rounder and Jacobs for Coleman. Try that. Don't like it? Don't care. That's what I like. You do what you want. Wide receiver cross position, BTJ. You're probably not getting BTJ with Jacobs and a couple second rounders, but you try. Jameson Williams straight up. Throwing a second rounder, you try. DJ Moore is an older player. Someone needs a running back. Take a gamble. Second rounder, add it. Get DJ Moore. Michael Wilson straight up. Adunze, add in a bunch. MHJ, you're going to have to add in something, but those are players that are vulnerable. How about Travis Hunter straight up?
Position
Travis Hunter straight up. Why not? He's a questionable player to people, right? Travis Hunter straight up. You could do that. Would you do Ayuk straight up for Jacobs in a dynasty?
Maybe.
I mean, there's still a chance Jacobs comes back and plays. Like, we got to understand that. But I didn't want him anyway. You know, part of me wonders if that's like the way out of, you know, the way out of hell.
I mean, I guess if you think Ayuk can bounce back and, you know, be a wide receiver too somewhere.
But is it worth the risk to you? Like if you're like Jacobs is cooked, regardless.
Probably not to me. But
okay. You know,
I could understand it.
In that case, it would probably be Ayuk's not even allowed in his team's facility. He's not going to be a San Francisco 49er, Tron. You know that. You know that he's a Commander. Look, the thing is, Ayuk a month from now is going to be a different Ayuk. I think people will want him more.
And that's where I'm trying to like parse out what I think he can be. I guess
right.
It's a reasonable take because if he's on the Commanders, I think you want a couple pieces of that to take a chance on it. You know,
it's just a thought.
I mean, I take that back. I think it's reasonable. Yeah.
I just think it's a thought because a month from now you might be wishing you did it, and you could be regretting it. But at the same time,
it's a good point because you have to get crafty with it. You know, you have to think out of the box to get rid of Jacobs right now.
Jason says, I'll put money. There's going to be a video. There might be something. Look, the fact that there's 5 charges means there's a lot more meat to this, potentially, at least the accusation, a lot more meat to the accusation. And there is going to be a lot more of a chance if it's true, which it's innocent until proven guilty. But if the 5 charges are true, there are photos, there are witnesses there, and if not, then it's completely it's going to be deemed as potentially fabricated. Should we be sleeping heavily on Lloyd? Should we be sleeping heavily on Lloyd? The guy's a second.
He means are we sleeping heavily?
Yeah, I think Lloyd? You mean should we? Sleeping means like let's not like him. Let's go to sleep. Let's not pay attention to him. Guy was second running back drafted in 2024. Should be cleared for training camp. I mean, I'm not gonna. I mean, Chris Brooks is the number 2 running back on the roster now. The official Green Bay Packers roster isn't even updated. It shows Emmanuel Wilson and Willis on the roster, but if you go to ESPN, there's an updated roster. I'm not saying they determine who starts and who's even second. I'm just telling you that there's a heavy thinking that no one knows who the best backup opportunity is. And just because you like Lloyd doesn't mean they do. Just because you like Lloyd doesn't mean they're not tired of his games. You got to understand, Overcome, you're not there at practice every day. What we see is on the field on game days, and that's it. We don't get to sit there. Look, that's what another example of this is Garendo. How much do we love Garendo when he's on the field? We loved him. But what we didn't know, what we didn't hear day in and day out is he disappointed the staff so bad that they moved on from him. We were like, what is going on with Garendo in practice? They hate this guy. He's so good on the field. But there's so much you don't know. So we're making a lot of assumptions that they believe in Lloyd. He's always injured. And Martinez is a sleeper right now. And then you've got Chris Brooks, who's listed as second on the ESPN depth chart, who played in the playoff and last game pretty well. So I just, you can say these things, but there are so many different things to worry about. I think people are going to get this wrong. It's going to be so hard to get right. And then Najee comes on the roster, and then it's even more of a mess for you.
I looked up his injury history here, and so he tore his ACL. That was in 2020. So, okay, you can say he's past that. But August 24, thigh and hamstring pull. And then September 24, pedal ankle sprain. Goes on the IR. I believe misses most of the year or all the year. Then July 2025, groin pull. August 2025, thigh and hamstring strain. December 2025, leg and calf strain. And I believe they're all on the same leg. So that's concerning. He just keeps hurting having injuries on the same leg over and over.
Let me show you something. Let me show you something, Overcome. Let me pull up his game log from last year. Oh! Oh! Wait a minute. ESPN must not be loading. They're having a little data error issue. Just hang tight. Hopefully this refreshes in a few minutes. Just hang out here and wait. And when it refreshes, let me know.
Also, game log from 2024.
Yeah, okay. Let me pull up his game logs.
One game.
Let me pull up his stats. Let's see here. 2024.
He killed it.
Yeah.
Compared to last year.
Okay, there we go. So here's his game log for the week. It looks like the stats are loading again. The stats are loading again. 2.5 a carry. I'm trying to figure out what it is that's appealing about. I even forget his first name a lot. Marshawn. Marshawn Lloyd. What's appealing about Marshawn Lloyd? Somebody tell me. Tell me.
I'll tell you, people took them in the second round of rookie picks, and they've had them sitting on the bench or their IR in Dynasty for 2 years, and they're hoping for something. Most of the people that are Lloyd people.
It's always ownership percentage.
Right.
If we could just have the percentage of ownership over everyone's head, like just moving, constantly moving whenever someone's talking about somebody, that'd be amazing. It's like Jacobs says, he'll be fine. 95% red, 95% red. What about Lloyd? 67%.
They're bringing someone in for sure. Like, that would be crazy to not bring someone in.
Yeah,
if Jacobs is missing.
Yeah, they're not leaving this the way it is. Like, you also got to think about it from this perspective, guys. Did anybody hear rumors that they were trying to cut down the running back room? Like, they got to cut a guy. No, so you lose somebody, you add somebody. Like, it's pretty easy to, especially when you don't have any veteran, presence at all. Is Lloyd the veteran? Lloyd it is. Well, how many carries was it? Thank you, BBQ again.
6, I think. 6 career carries.
Yeah, Najee's coming in. 4th of July's will be hopping up in Green Bay anyway. Like, look, he can't light off fireworks in the snow. This is a good move for Najee. This will really ground him and keep his shenanigans, on ice. I don't know. Mahomes is, looking great. If anybody wants to talk positive, Mahomes is fantastic right now. Look at this guy out there. Just working hard. He's so hardworking. I can't stand the negative narrative around Mahomes. The poor guy's got the craziest family in the world. It's not his fault. I guess it is. He chose.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't choose his.
Didn't choose his brother.
Yeah. Let me get Husseini in here. Husseini, you are live, young man. What can we do for you, pal?
Hey, Smitty.
Yes, sir.
I just had a quick question. So with this Jacobs news, let's say he misses time, and they get an underwhelming backfield. Regardless, though, how do you feel about Tucker Kraft? Does this affect him in any way, shape, or form? Do you think?
Yeah, I mean a little bit, sure. Like he's the only player. Him and Watson. But Watson goes so high, I kind of don't want Watson this year either. But not because I don't like him. I like him a lot. I love Christian Watson. But he's going really, really high for my liking. But if he was to fall a little bit, then Watson would be included. But Kraft is the only one I'm drafting. And even Kraft is going a little high too. So I find myself, while I say that, still not drafting them that often. Either one. But Kraft will... Yeah, coming off the injury, could be a slow start. Green Bay's going to be a mess. They literally feel like, hey, Husseini, if I walked up to you, let's say you worked at a I don't know, meat packing plant, okay? And I walk up to you and I say, Husseini, we're going to dumb this down. We're going to take all, we have 5 conveyor belts. We're going to make it 1. We're going to put it on 1 mile per hour instead of 5. And we're going to put 7 people on this line instead of just you. Like, what do you think they're saying, Husseini? Are they saying that you're way ahead of your time? You're just the best meatpacking plant worker known to man? Or are they trying to dumb things down because you don't know what in the hell you're doing? Like Green Bay, they're tearing things down, and they've said we're going to simplify everything. So who's not picking it up? Is it Jordan Love? Is it the receivers? Is it everybody? Who the hell knows? But that doesn't sound like a complex operation I want to be a part of. But the simplicity of throwing to Tucker Kraft and Watson does make sense to me, especially if they're playing from behind and they don't figure it all out, especially with the running backs game struggling now. Like Green Bay's been a prediction of demise for me for a while this offseason. I think we're pretty much on track still. And so that means a lot of throwing in the third and fourth quarter. So Kraft and Watson are the only 2 players to own. You could say Matthew Golden in the right light. Depends on if the wind's blowing left or right. Sure, why not? Throw him in. But I'm not drafting him because I don't really like Matthew Golden that much at all. But there's some opportunity for him, if you want to call it that. Not there's lots of upside. There's opportunity. He's got to make it into upside. He's got to turn those lemons into into something. But go ahead, Husseini. What else were you going to say?
No, yeah, I agree. I think Tucker Kraft looks good right now. He looks like he's never been abducted by aliens before, so he's looking sharp. But so how far off in your eyes is Tucker Kraft to Jake Ferguson, just like redraft?
Ferguson had a good year, a very underrated year.
He had a lot of receptions, so in PPR.
Right.
I know there's a lot of mouths to feed over there, but when Dak Prescott's there, and you just got a smooth operation over there, so Ferguson's a big security blanket, especially if one of those guys gets abducted by aliens. He kind of becomes the next man up. I'm
gonna say Kraft over Ferguson. But I just want to stop and give Ferguson his props and just say, like, he had 5 touchdowns, he had 618 yards, he had 70 receptions. But I do believe with CeeDee Lamb, I was gonna say real quick, if CeeDee Lamb being out, I think a lot of production went up for Fergie that's not going to necessarily be there. I think it'll be there, but it's not the same. So give me the guy that I think we're all expecting to be a really, really, really good player. But do I like Kyle Pitts miles ahead of him? Yes. Laporta, if he could stay healthy, yes. Fannin for sure. Warren for sure. But Kraft is kind of right behind those guys, behind Pitts. Above Kelsey for me, above Ferguson for me. Likely and Gadsden are also really crafty later picks, though, if you wanted to go away from Kraft and say, give me Njoku and Gadsden, especially in best ball. But I love Likely. Likely's fantastic. Go ahead, Travis, then over to Husseini. Travis.
No, I was just going to say, I think the big difference with them, too, is because Lamb and Pickens and everyone there, I think Kraft is more likely to have the huge spike games. He's going to have a 30-point game here or there, 25-point game here or there, where Ferguson is probably going to be that, 10 to 15-point guy, just pretty solid. And it's going to be a lot less, huge games for him.
Yeah, I agree. He's got a high floor just because of the PPR, and it's those kind of red zone type looks sometimes. So,
I think there's a good chance. Didn't I have a Jordan Love challenge with somebody? Was that Luis?
With Luis, yeah, he's big. I don't know. I don't understand that. Jordan Love.
What was the challenge that we had? Does anybody remember? I think I have it written down somewhere. I got the board, but I don't know if I put it on the board yet. This is the challenge board. Where's the challenge board? Oh, where the hell is it? Hold on. I have it here somewhere. Challenge board. Where are you? I'll have to find it. I have it here somewhere. But I forget what it was that he said. But I think Jordan Love could just fall completely apart this year. What's the worst thing you can do to a quarterback? Change their offense again and again and again, and just rip this whole thing down.
And now he might lose a running back because Jacobs is better than what they're going to have.
Yeah, how bad is it to walk up to somebody and go, "Look, we're going to tear this offense down." Oh, I'm doing that good, huh? Things are going that great. What do we think's going to
simplify it?
Yeah. Green Bay to me reminds me of the Pittsburgh Steelers in a sense, where they're always holding afloat.
Fucking mediocrity.
Yeah, but they're never really serious team. They're always just kind of lingers. They kind of linger around last place in the wild card round or whatever. Once in a while they'll win the division here and there. But I don't know. It's just from top to bottom. It's just Josh Jacobs having his age and concerns and everything we've talked about, and Jordan Love just, in my eyes, just being a bottom tier quarterback. And LaFleur just kind of, I don't know. He's got all these weapons, but he never knows how to. Yeah, he never knows how to make someone a number one and just feed them.
Imagine having Jaden Reed start breaking out a couple years ago and then being let's keep him off the field unless we got 3 wide receivers on the field. Yeah. That's incompetence there. This has literally been incompetence in Green Bay, and I have no faith in it at all. And now Reed's cooked. I don't think Reed's doing jack shit. and that's not his fault. It just, at some point you just get stale. And Christian Watson, maybe he continues to ball because they're throwing from behind, and Kraft might get in on that. But Kraft being, injured coming back, there could be like a slow month one for Kraft. So you got to prepare for that. Maybe Kraft is a better trade for him after 3 or 4 weeks than draft him as high as he's going. This one for this super chat here. Appreciate you, pal. Have the 1.2 in Dynasty League, Tyson or Tate. Tyson 1.2 by far for me. He is, in my opinion, worth whatever gamble you think is there, present, and injuries and all that. I'm not concerned with it. None of the injuries have been correlated. And, when people bring up his knee being mangled, bro, he's been elite since his knee injury. Like, that's in the past. Collarbone grows back or heals back stronger. I always say they should have just broke the other one just to get it out of the way. And now both his collarbones are bionic. But no, he's got one bionic collarbone. And then the hamstring injury, look, hamstring injuries happen, and he tried to rush back for the combine, retweaked it. Then he tried to rush back for the pro day or for the NFL draft the Friday before the NFL draft, and he was okay, but he pushed it then too. And somebody said they're limiting, a reporter reported that they're limiting some of his work right now just to keep the hamstring in check. And some people are worried about that, and I can understand that, but it's possible that he rushed himself back a little bit to get to, like, none of those things worry me. I'm not mad at him for trying to make money and get drafted in the NFL. What horrible timing. Imagine if you had a job interview and you had a bad case of diarrhea. Like, and you're running to the interview and it's just the worst timing, and then you try and go back for the second interview later that day, but the Taco Bell's still hitting you wrong. Like, what's he supposed to do? He's got to go for a combine. He's got to then try out himself at a separate, tryout the day before the NFL draft. He's got this short window of time to become an NFL player and get drafted properly. And he succeeded and he crushed it. And man, but he has the best chance of being the next CeeDee Lamb. Whereas Carnell Tate, I think he's got a chance of being like an 8 to 12, 8 to 14 wide receiver. But Tyson could either be, I think Tate's safer. I think Tate is a top 15 wide receiver. I think Tyson's a top 5 to 20 wide receiver. Like, it is what it is. Like, that's what the risk you take on when you go after a player with extremely high floor, high upside, but they currently have some risk factors. I don't necessarily weigh them the same as other people, but I can understand. And, I see CeeDee Lamb potential. I see more upside. I'm going to take that gamble. But you're not wrong to go either one. And you're not even wrong to go Jadarian Price if you really needed a running back at 1.2. And then he also said OKC or Spurs. I would probably say Spurs, but I don't know. Oh, Husseini just dipped out. Husseini, call back if you have another question, bro. I'm right here for you.
I want the Spurs to win, and Wemby or SGA, like, I'd take Wemby all day. SGA's great, but man, I can't stand watching him flop around the floor.
Yeah, Wemby. There's already people talking about how and I don't blame them for projecting. That's obviously projecting that Wemby might become the greatest player to ever play, but like, he is so fun to watch. He's getting better every year. He is just an unbelievable athlete. I mean, it's just crazy how he moves and how he can shoot. And I mean, man, I was jealous when they drafted him. I'm like, man, why can't the Suns get him?
Spurs always get the big centers. Robinson. Duncan was power forward center.
Is Wemby a center or is he a point guard?
Wemby.
A shooting guard.
Really? Right.
He's unbelievable.
Wherever they need him.
He's unbelievable. Bro doesn't even know how to play yet.
No.
It's crazy. Like, watch him. He's learning how to play on the fly. I mean, he knows how to play, but like, he's not in his own skin yet at all. He doesn't realize how dominant he is. He like kind of runs into people versus powers into it. Like, he has no spatial intelligence yet. And I say that even though you're watching him perform magic out there in terms of spatial intelligence. That's just him moving around. Like, once he becomes strategic, and you see shots of it where he's spinning and he's just looking fantastic. But this guy's like scratching the surface of the spatial intelligence. So we'll see. Yeah, NBA does kind of I hate the gather rule. As soon as the gather steps started getting exposed, I stopped watching the NBA during the regular season.
I can't watch much. Yeah,
it's trash.
Sorry.
It's trash.
Sorry
The gather's ridiculous. The gather is traveling. I don't care what your rule book says. Traveling. They're all traveling now. They're traveling.
Husseini just sent me a message and said he had to go back to work, and he just said the last thing he wanted to ask was, do you like Ferguson or Likely more for this year?
Probably Likely. I draft him a little later because I can, but I definitely think Likely is going to take a big step. He's injury risk, but Ferguson's not exactly, I think, as safe as we think he is, just because, like I said, Lamb was down, and I don't know. I like Fergie.
He had that streak with Lamb out.
Yeah, I'm not as sold. I like Likely. In best ball, I'd like Gadsden and Joku most, but that's best ball because you don't have to decide who to play, so you're just going to get the glory.
Right.
And I know that look at Miami Mike, now Malibu Mike, and what he did with Jonu Smith, who had no business being as good as he was. Shout out to Superfish. I don't know where Superfish is, who called that. But Jonu Smith had no business being as good as he was. Darren Waller wasn't even healthy enough to really even play, that many games in a row, and he looked like a magician out there. What does anybody think is going to happen with Gadsden and Njoku? So grab the two together in non-best ball, cuff them, and hope that you have a clear indication as to what's going on from week to week. But in best ball, beautiful stack the two of them together, and then you don't even need a second tight end or third tight end. You can just have Njoku and Gadsden and eat the bye week. What are the Chargers on a bye? Let me go to my bye week. If you guys don't know, the fantasyfootballshow.com is just the most glorious place to get not only information, but stats and everything. And it's just unbelievable. Gadsden has a bye week in week number 7. So that's fine. Eat the bye week and then have those two tight ends rotate for you. Don't do that in every league, but it's a fantastic approach. Anything else, Travis? We'll be back at midnight.
No. Thanks, buddy.
All right, bro. Appreciate you.
Bye.
Later, bro. Cooper Flag is different. Yeah, I like Cooper Flag too. I wish I was into the NBA, but it's trash now. It's trash. It's just a bunch of traveling. I can't stand the gather step. I can't stand when people try and explain the gather step. It's because I understand it. I'm not a moron. But when you try and pretend no, it's not travel. It's travel. It's travel. It'd be one thing if you're talking about exploiting the pivot step and getting into all that on a proper gather. But when you're gathering as you're picking up the ball, you're taking 2 steps as you're completing. You've stopped dribbling, you've got the ball, you're letting the ball slide in your hand, you take it 5, 6, 7 steps, and then you go, you know what? I'm not going to dribble it again. I'm taking another step and taking another step. And then I grab it now. And now I'm taking 3 steps, 3.5. You're taking 17 steps. It's trash. It's trash. Tron says that the gather step is basically the 4th step legally. It's trash. It's trash, like I just explained it. That's why I don't watch the NBA anymore. Who do we like more for rebuilder, Bucky or Rice? I probably say Rice for right now, but those are both 2 very volatile players. Very volatile players. NBA is unwatchable, agree. I watch the finals. I watch, playoffs here and there. I don't even watch every playoff game, but I try to watch the majority. Definitely watch the finals, But I wouldn't even have time anyway. So there's that on top of the fact that I'm not going to make time. Thank you for the Dublaze bus. Appreciate you. Was his name Buscemi? Shemi? All right, I'm out of here. Are we talking about the NBA? No, we briefly, but no. All right, boys. Should we be grabbing Malachi Fields? Of course, bro. A-Rod, I talk about it all the time. Malachi Fields is a must cuff 2 neighbors, and he's a must draft player anyway because he's glorious, and he's unfortunately a mid-season monster. See him right there, bro? He's already queued up and ready to go. You know who's a little bit concerning right now, just a little bit, is Concepcion. He's been dropping a bunch of balls in practice. But that's okay. He can get around that, but it is a little bit concerning. But we'll have to make sure he gets, on track there. Yeah, Ted McMillan will probably lead with the Ted McMillan injury tonight. He's playing with a little bit of an owie, and so we'll monitor that tonight. But has I believe it's the foot, right? Brazel to the moon. People don't even realize how good Brazel is. There is a chance Brazel's better, and I tell you that all the time. I'm cautious to say it too much because I know that could drive people. People could go, this guy should be in a loony bin. Because I love Ted McMillan. I have Ted in every league. How dare Smitty do this to me? But I'm telling you, Brazel is faster. He runs a 4.3 40. He's got the wingspan. He's got the speed, the quickness, the hands. I like Brazel. Not that I would draft him higher, but I like Brazel more than I like Ted. It's just the way it is. You could live with it or not. I don't care. But we'll be talking about the Ted McMillan injury, leading with that tonight at midnight, and then drafting. Brazel to the moon, bro. Do we even have him on the mid-season board? Where is he? He should be on here. Okay, we'll put Claiborne. I still got to get a Claiborne image. Poor Claiborne. Guy's just got his name sitting there. But Brazel, let's put Brazel on here. I got to get a new Brazel image, too. But Brazel to the freaking moon, bro. This guy is going to be, he's such a baller. This wide receiver class is a lot, photo's funny. A lot of sleepers in this class, man. I feel like I got a new Brazel image that I made and cooked up, but I don't know where it is. But yeah, Brazel to the moon. Get ready. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we draft Brazel Dazzle. We need a Brazel Dazzle video play. But tonight we draft Brazel. Tonight we draft Brazel.
Mashed potatoes! Yeah, buddy.
Tonight we draft Josh Jacobs. Just kidding.
You've just been Smitty disappointed.
Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, almost every single Monday through Friday. Live almost every single midnight. And your boy, I try and go live whenever big news breaks. So if some big news breaks, jump on over to my YouTube channel. We didn't go live exactly when this Josh Jacobs news broke because I was trying to wait until 8 p.m. because it was so close to it. And there was new information unfolding every minute. It was just not getting much more extravagant. But I didn't want to go live and then there'd be another piece. So I was like, I'm just going to wait a little bit until we get to 8 p.m. to go live. But I knew we'd go live at 8 p.m. to break it down. So, a couple hours, I waited a couple hours on it instead of just going straight live. See you all at midnight Eastern for drafting. Don't forget Underdog promo code Smitty. Underdog will match your first deposit 50%, all the way up to $1,000 in bonus credit. So just hit the link that is going to be dropped in the live chat right now. It's in the description of the video. Here's the link right now. Smash this link. Sign up now so you're not scrambling to get into a draft. BBQ, thank you for the 50 gifted memberships. That link is pinned right now, so sign up now. Thank you, BBQ. Thank you, Mel Bailey, with the $20 super chat. Appreciate you, Mel. Mel, I encourage you. Let me go back on screen here. Mel, bring it in, Mel. Bring it in, Mel. Mel, I encourage you to look at this thing for what it is, which is a place of glory, a place of gathering and having a good time, a place of supporting each other, a place of not having a negative, toxic environment in the live chat. And the fact that you came in And I'll be honest, I saw your message. I see everything, Mel. I got 3 eyeballs, 1 back here, 2 in the front, and I saw the messages that were being typed. I see everything. And for you to come in here, drop a $20 super chat, and in my mind, look at you saying, let me just let the past go. I think Smitty doesn't hold grudges. I don't even know who's mad at me. Like, it doesn't even cross my mind. Like, I'm proud of you, Mel, for coming in with this clean slate mentality and not listening to people that are saying things about your boy Smitty. So, Mel to the moon on that. I don't know if Mel's still in here. See you all later. Appreciate you, Mel. Thank you, Overcome. Thank you, was it Buscemi? Am I saying that right? Brandon, appreciate you, Brandon. Jacobs, Evans for Bowers, nice trade. Simi Valley, Connor could land. Appreciate that comment. Big Profit, appreciate you. Nice job with the Bowers trade. Dose. See you at midnight. Ted McMillan, Brazzle Dazzle, Steve Buscemi. Buscemi. What? Am I funny? Am I a funny guy? Am I here to entertain you?
Quadruple J and Consultants.
Did you make a mess on the field? Don't fret. Call the cleanup crew. Call Quadruple J and Consultants.
Locations on Mars.
Mecca Ibuka, he is him.
In a jam, call HHH and Associates.
Triple H and Associates. Locations on Earth and Jupiter.
Your Bijan card has been revoked.